How do you know when it's time to let go? And how do you know when it's time to make a big choice and a big change, even when you don't want to? That is the crazy part about life, and you really just have to lean and listen to your inner self to know when it's time. Do not mind the rainbow on my face. I don't know why that's there actually. Let's see. All right, so we're just gonna jump right into it, and this is gonna be more so of a get ready with me, so I'm not gonna be talking too much about the products. Being back in Minnesota is something I really thought was never going to happen. So you know that it was a very thought out process. If you don't know who I am, my name is Raquelle Lynnette. Welcome to my channel. Go ahead and press the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up and also turn on the bell so you can know every time I'm coming up here to upload for you guys. I currently just transitioned from Las Vegas, Nevada to Minnesota, which is my hometown. I was very adamant of never moving back there, so the fact that I'm still here is still a shock to even me. But I just wanted to come do a really quick sit down chit chat and share some of my thoughts, what happened, and what to expect in the upcoming days. Because how do you know when it's time to let go, to try something new? How do you know that you're not backtracking? I would say that the answer comes from within. All of 2023 has been kind of a struggle for me. Not only, and to take it back some, just a little bit of background for me if you don't know who I am or what I do. I have been a beauty creator for years. I've lived in Las Vegas, Nevada. I've made it my home for the past 6 years, and it has been a wondrous experience. I feel like I've been on vacation for 6 years. And then, you know, 2023 rolls around and I set out a vision board for myself. Seemingly nothing is going as planned, but even when things are not going as planned, they are going as planned. It's just going a different way than what you would expect it. And that's where flow comes in. This year has really been about me leaning into flow, aiming higher, and sometimes you just have to go back to the drawing board, unfortunately. For me, I had been in Vegas for 6 years, and for the last, I would say 3, I've been single, lived on the Strip, moved to a house, very nice house in a very nice area, and I just thought that that was going to cure everything that I had been holding in and the issues that I was starting to face. The primary issues that I was experiencing in Las Vegas was I had no help, and I always thought that maybe I was going to meet a significant other that would help me after breaking up with my ex, and I always thought that that's where the help was supposed to come from. I thought that me being out west was, you know, me breaking generational curses, which it was, but how long am I supposed to just suffer just to stay in Las Vegas? Living in Las Vegas, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things. I got to know myself after being in a violent relationship, and it really just saved my life. But how much do I endure by myself? Like, everything that I had to do by myself out west. You know, like, if people live in the same city as their mom and they're a single mom or their family, you know, sometimes people have help, but I was literally putting on a superwoman cape. I'd not known anyone else in my situation. I couldn't even call people because a lot of the people my friends moved away during COVID, and I still decided to stay. And for some reason, I just thought moving into a house was like going to solve everything, and it did not. Moving into the house, I had to do the yard work, like the water heater broke, a lot of things went left, and it left me looking at myself like, what is more important? Mental health, having support, or living out west and having great weather and fun? So, I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I never really thought I was gonna move back until my mom's health this year. It all started in January. An incident at her work happened twice, and outside of that, she'd been rushed to the hospital a few times in an ambulance, and I'm not gonna go dive deep into her health situation, but my mom is a 2-time cancer survivor as well, and I'm cross country, you know, going through this, witnessing my mom you know, experienced some of the toughest days of her life, not having people around, having someone to help her, and I'm like helpless. And God forbid something ever happened to my mom, and I'm out west, and I could have just came back and helped her. So push come to shove, my stepdad and her all in 1 week. There was a seizure and there was someone who got rushed to the hospital. And I was just like, all right, I'm done. I will not be able to live with myself if something happens to my parents. And me knowing that I can move back, help her, my kids will be around the family, I'll have help, and you know, my kids are getting older, and Vegas still isn't really a place to raise your kids. It's fun, but as the kids get older, there's nothing like really to do. There's not really a lot for my kids to get into, as opposed to Minnesota, which is a state where you actually raise your family. So I made the big decision to pack up the car and move back. I'm here for about a week, and you know, things are the same and completely different. I'm a completely different person. People keep asking me if I'm from out of town, and I guess I just hold myself differently. I view the world differently, and I know that this is just what needed to happen. Which brings me to being open to flow, pivoting, and really evaluating what's important in life. I was so just avid on never moving back to Minnesota because I have a lot of painful memories from here. I escaped an abusive relationship. A lot of the people in Minnesota are closed-minded from what I remember. Things aren't open 24 hours. There's not a lot of opportunities for bloggers in this state, and it's just really not my vibe, you know? I feel like I've outgrown it a lot. As an Aries who was pushed into her masculine energy, sometimes I think that I can just do everything by myself and it'd be okay, but it was not okay because I was not growing with my social media. I was getting consistent brand deals and things like that, but I really couldn't buckle in the way that I thought I was going to this year because I was so focused on doing everything else for my kids. My kids are 10 and 11, and even waking up in the morning and, you know, getting them ready and stuff for school. I was a stay-at-home mom and I was still trying to be a full-time blogger, but it was still hard. It was still hard, you guys. I was really like suffering because it's just like the smallest things. If they needed something, I would have to go to the store to get it. If they had to get picked up from school, I had to do it. It's no one that I could call on because all my friends moved away, or all the friends who I got acquainted with didn't stay in Southern Highlands. So when you see me, when you see the Vegas life of how I was living, that literally was all me. I don't even know where the strength came from, you guys, but there is a point in everyone's life where they need to revisit their choices, sit down and be very real. And I had a very real talk with myself. It was a combination of me being hyper independent. It was a combination of the kids growing up and me not really wanting them to be around the Vegas people, as was my parents' health. It was a combination of things, and everything just pushed me back to Minnesota for the time being. My kids were not happy about it, but I know with time that they will grow to be okay because there's so much to do in Minnesota. It's a family state. So I just feel like I am ending a cycle. I am walking into abundance because, you know, having help is priceless. If I have someone to help with my kids, I can just super do what I need to do. Like even today, my brother, I wake up and he's like, you know, get my son ready so he can take him to the barbershop, like off the bat, like. And then he took him to the mall and stuff. I was the one who had to coordinate and take him and do all that in Las Vegas by myself. And I always thought I was so worth it because of, you know, Vegas, big city, love the weather, and I took on that burden. But it's time and it's a season to lay down unnecessary hurt, pain, burdens because you don't have to. And yes, it definitely hurts my ego a little bit to be back here. But, you know, it was my choice, and so far, so good. I I still, you know, I've established myself enough on social media to where I can still get campaigns, and I know how to work with the sunlight because the sunlight is not the best here. But it's just all about mental health. It's all about mental health, and so far, so good. I just have been getting unpacked and, you know, doing everything that I need to do, so I wasn't able to really sit down and record, but we're sitting down and we're recording today. I made a TikTok video earlier this year, and I was like, if I can do this all by myself, just imagine what I can do with a little bit of help. And I just felt like I was prophesying to myself, but not even realizing it, because I thought that the help was gonna come like in the form of a man's help, when in reality I just needed to tell my mom, hey, the load is getting a little bit too heavy and I need some help. It's really hard for me to say that I need help, but I did. My best friend came down to help me transition back to Minnesota without me even asking, like, because she came down there, and I was even talking about this back in March when she visited me. I was like, dude, this is a lot of work. The house, doing all this by myself, it's kind of unrealistically hard. And she was like, well, you got to do what's best for you. And so that was back in March. So here we are, fully moved back and beginning a new journey, a new chapter of my life. I get to show my kids a lot of stuff that I experienced as a child. And also just having you know, being able to get out into the real world. I'm not closed-minded. I know that I can still travel and take my kids places. And it was a great experience for us to live out there, to live on the strip, to see a different aspect. But now it's time to bring it home and really, really buckle and focus. So that is all I'm worried about right now, is actually walking into the blogger that I have been trying to be. I've just been balancing the weight of the world on my shoulder, y'all, like seriously. So this next rebrand, this next glow up is so personal and long overdue, because I'm done just doing things the hard way, basically. If I would have met like a significant other who would have helped and stuff, then I would have stayed out there, but that didn't happen. So everybody comes to Vegas and leaves. So on my new journey, I'm not only just focused on beauty blogging, I have a couple of new business ventures that are in the works. Some things that I have been putting off for years because I was just afraid of the hard work. All I ever wanted to do was to be a content creator. And now I'm realizing, you know, I have more to my calling. You know, I survived a domestic violence relationship, and I should be doing more, not only for the community, but for myself. You know, that's a part of me that really helped to shape me, and I need to touch on that more, because there's women who reach out to me all the time for resources or to hear my story, and I just feel like I should be doing more to help. You know, beauty blogging and lifestyle blogging is very good, but at the end of the day, everything that I went through, well, I know is supposed to help other people. So I have been quietly, very quietly working on getting licensed for my business, and I want to talk about it so bad, but I can't. But just stay tuned for that. Do you guys see that? Like, this is this edge control. It's like super messy. The way everything worked out, I know that I'm supposed to be back here. Even if I don't want to be back here, I know that I am. There's just so many synchronicities that are happening to where it's like, okay, this was the perfect time. This needed to happen. I am supposed to be here. But yeah, the drive was crazy. It was a day drive, you guys, and it was intense. I'm never ever doing that again. But we made it, and we are here. I think that I was afraid of failing or looking like I had failed by leaving Vegas and saying, hey, I need my family, I need help raising my kids, I need a village, because it definitely takes a village, and it was not a village out there. It was just me doing everything for my kids, and that's not healthy for them, and it's not healthy for me, and it really started to take a toll on me. I just remember like being sad and just wishing like, oh God, if you could just please, you know, align me with my life partner or somebody who's going to help me. And then it's just like, no one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. You have to make those tough choices and do what's best for you and your family. And at this point in my life, what's best is being back and having help. Luckily, we're catching the end of summer, so I can take them around and show them a good old Minnesota summer, because in Vegas, you can't really do anything. You sit in the house in the air conditioning until the sun goes down. I mean, there's a lot to do, but like not outside, like not kid stuff. Out here, you can just go outside and play. Also, you know, Vegas is like the worst school district in the nation, and Minnesota is like the best. So I enrolled my daughter in this really awesome performing arts school, and my son's going to a Spanish immersion school, so already upgrading. And not to mention, you know, the difference between Nevada and Minnesota when it comes to schooling is that Minnesota is a rich state, so there's going to be more opportunities, more after school, more camps at either free or no cost, when in reality in Vegas there's not. Especially in Southern Highlands. They are just now like building a community center and stuff out there. What was really important to me was to remember that no one's journey is the same. I always say that, because even for me, I feel like I lost a lot of my 20s being in an abusive relationship, and going out to Vegas really was my safe haven. I didn't want to come back and relive those memories. I didn't want to come back to a city with no sunlight, to a community that is really kind of like high school. People are very closed-minded and judgmental in Minnesota, and it's just not something that made me happy. But what I know now is that what's important is what's in my heart, what energy I give off to the world, what I allow, what boundaries I set, so I don't even have to deal with those people or those situations anymore. So it's a growth process for me, for sure. And also, usually when you feel like your world is falling apart, that just means everything is falling into place. Doing the thing that you don't want to do usually pushes you closer to your goals than doing the thing that's safe and comfortable. And one of my New Year's resolutions was to get out of my comfort zone, and Vegas was completely my comfort zone. I love Vegas with everything in me, but it was time to step out of my comfort zone. I know I'm being called higher. I know that I have work to do, and I'm just taking this one step at a time, day by day, because this business isn't just, okay, my business, I will be relaunching. So I have two businesses that are going, actually. So last year I launched presets and an ebook and things of that such, and I've been rebranding, and I don't want to go too much into it, but I am relaunching RL Solutions, because, you know, I feel like anyone these days can make a consistent living for content creation, regardless if you're a nano creator, micro creator. There's just so many ways to get it these days. There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it. And I just want to share the gems that I have gotten along the way, because I am a full-time content creator. I do feel like giving back. Everyone has been asking me for a long time, like, how do I get brand deals? And I just really would like to pour into RL Solutions again and get a couple of courses out, my presets, and, you know, just some things like that, so I can help aspiring creators. And then my other business is just really teaching me patience and to trust the process, because it's just so tedious when you really want to open up a business and you're trying to do your calling. I was so afraid of this, you guys, because it's so much work. I put it off for 6 years. The universe is like, you don't have any more time to put it off. It's now or never. Do it. And so, you guys, I'm in the process of doing. I just am in the process of doing, in a season of flow. Life is full of prizes and surprises, and sometimes you feel like you're really being thrown through a hoop, and your faith is being tested, and What I will say is to trust yourself. Trust yourself, trust this process, and step out of your comfort zone. That's the only way you're going to grow. For me, it is so, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm kind of terrified to live in Minnesota because I was just so depressed here before. And I just couldn't see what joy I could ever get out of living in this state. I really, really couldn't. And you know, that's when you get too comfortable, because it's like, what if you had to go back? What if you had to go back? And now that I'm back, I am trying to be optimistic. I'm networking with new people, new companies, local companies, and you know, it's just kind of a love-hate relationship so far. I'm trying to be optimistic. I love that I can help my mom. Like, I love that I can help her. Like, we may not always see eye to eye with everything because we are both Aries, so I love that I'm able to help her. She has told me like 18 times how happy she is that me and the grandkids are back, because I know that's tough on her to see us all the way across country, and we went back and forth so many times, and she was just the one who was never gonna move. So it ended up me coming back before me ever convincing her to move out there, which is funny because y'all, we used to go back and forth all the time. I was like, you come out here, and she was like, no, you come back home. And I'm like, I'm never, ever, ever coming home. So, you know, never say never. What's important here is that I am not waiting for anybody to come and save me, right? I needed help. My mom needed help. I need my family right now. And I was not getting that out west. And we are back home. All my friends are still here. Everyone's happy that I'm back, and this is just a new journey for me. I don't know how long I'm gonna be back, but all I know is that I listened to myself and I trusted myself, and I didn't continue to suffer in silence. This mascara is so good. And in reality, moving back to Minnesota is not gonna stop any of the motion or anything that I have going on that I had going on in Vegas. If anything, I can probably help more people who I grew up with social media, probably, you know, host a few things, and I'm actually excited. I know that this is a new opportunity. It's a beginning of a new era, and I've already, like you guys, I'm already networking with a bunch of new people. There's a bunch of new cool stuff in downtown St. Paul, Minneapolis, and yeah, I'm really excited about it. So now that I have help, prepare to be sick of me. Prepare to be sick of me. I haven't had help, like family help, in like 6 years. So everything you've seen has been me running on a 1% battery. So now that we can take a step back from being a big dog, we can concentrate on this content. I can grow my socials appropriately. I can travel and stuff, and I can just do everything that I wanted to. I know these last months of 2023 are gonna completely transform, because it's just something that I haven't had to help y'all. I really, really haven't. You gotta try this Rare Beauty Brow Gel, by the way. It just launched. It's like the best one on the market. It's like my fave. Not only is everyone's journey different, but like, you can start late, you can start over, you can start at 37 and still win. It's about the journey. It's a marathon. It's not a contest. When you know it's you versus you, you don't really go on anybody else's timeline. It was just really hard for me to like give up West Coast sunshine, because everybody's always happy out there, and people be like angry in Minnesota because there's never any sunshine. Hence the reason why my lighting isn't the best. Like, there's no sun. I promise you, it rained for an entire week when I first got back, and the way that I alchemized that pain was something that you guys should be proud of, because I really was like, wow, there's really no sunshine in Minnesota. Wow, everything closes so early. It was crazy. It was very, very humbling. But also in that time, I was helping my mom with a lot of stuff, so I wasn't even going out, even though like my inbox has been crazy there. I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about mothering. I found out my strength being out west alone as a single mom for 6 years. And what I will say is that, yeah, you don't know your own strength until you're put into a position to, you know, walk into it. But at the same time, if I'm gonna be doing the soft girl life, I need to do whatever's in my power to maintain a soft life and not to continue to do everything and haul everything by myself. And I think that was the most humbling experience that I've ever had, to really sit down and look at myself and say, hey, there's no loss with going back to Minnesota. You have not only proven to yourself that you are really her and you can stand in any arena. So yes, very humbling experience, and I'm not gonna question God. I'm not gonna question myself. I trust myself. I know that only good could come from this. So now in my new season, it's not about, oh my God, you know, it's about just showing up and being consistent and doing things that I can do, you know? So this new season, I'm very excited about. I'm very excited about. It's been hard for me to just do like normal things because I haven't had help. I'm very excited to explore a new city. I'm very excited to network with new people. Minnesota is so small. So yeah, trust the timing of your life. Those big choices that you continue to push off are still going to be there. Even if you push it off for 6 years, even if you push it off for 8 months, like I've been pushing this move off for 8 months, honestly, 8 months. My mom's first injury was back in January, and I felt like led to come back, but I was like, I'm not going back to Minnesota, it's winter. So I just kind of let that escape my mind, and then with everything that just kept happening, I finally did what I was supposed to do. And you know you're in alignment when things start to open up and things just flow, right? So I finally made the hard choice, and now everything is just opening up. So trust the timing of your life. Evaluate, check in with yourself, figure out what's going good, what's not going good. Oh, I can't get this because I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. Make those tough choices quick, and life will be easier.